Date check, May 8, 2023. Welcome to Joy News Prime with me, Samuel Kojo Brace. In this bulletin, we'll cover issues on dual citizenship and politics, labor matters at the Sono Nasogli Power Company, alleged sexual harassment at a complementary education agency, and a chief who has endorsed illegal mining in his area. Former President John Mahama is advocating for Ghanaians with dual citizenship to be allowed to contest for public office in Ghana without renouncing their citizenship with any other foreign country. According to him, a future NDC government will seek to amend the Citizenship Act of 2002, Act 591, to make it possible for Ghanaians with dual citizenship to contest and hold public office. According to him, the current provision that require renunciation of such right for those seeking to enter parliament to contest the presidency of Ghana is gross injustice and an affront to democracy. The NDC Member of Parliament for Asin Central, James Jachi Kwesen, has been injuncted by the Supreme Court from holding himself as MP because he failed to renounce his Canadian citizenship before filing to contest the 2020 election. Addressing delegates of the party in the Northern Regional Capital, Tamale, the former president said the provision will be clarified if the NDC wins the 2024 elections.
We've seen the cardinal sin of the Fourth Republic, which is the disenfranchisement of the people of South. For one whole term, they've not had a member of parliament. But even if we put that aside, the people of Asin North elected a person to represent them in parliament. This government has manipulated the judiciary in such a way that they've injuncted the member of parliament for Asin North. So even though he's the elected member, he cannot perform the duties of an MP. That is a gross injustice, and it's an affront to our democracy. But I want to assure the people of Ghana, and I want to assure the people like Jachi Kwesen, that is our member of parliament for Asin North, that when NDC comes into power, we are going to clarify that constitutional provision that compels them to give up their foreign citizenship before they contest elections. A country's human resource is its best resource, and we happen to have about 3 million of our citizens abroad. They've acquired experience, they've acquired different talents. And why would we have a law that says that if you want to come and be an MP in Ghana, you must give up your other citizenship? Meanwhile, we have a dual citizenship law. We're going to clarify it. They can come and stand for parliament. They can come and hold office in Ghana. They don't have to give up their other citizenship to be able to hold those offices.
So what does the law say? Joining us is Kojo Oforiata, Esquire, private legal practitioner. Grateful that you could join us here, sir. Now, is this an entrenched position in our legal books? What does the law really say?
Kojo, thanks for having me. Yes, it is. Sorry, it is not an entrenched position as we can see it in the Constitution. Now, under the Constitution, there are some specific provisions that come under entrenched provision. And Chapter 3, which is supposed to be Article 8 of the Constitution, is not part of the entrenched provisions. But then, there are some specific provisions under the Constitution. When you look at under the executive, the legislature, and the rest of it, you will see that those provisions are entrenched. And it must be noted that under the Article 63, unless you are Ghanaian by birth, you can't become a president of Ghana. And when you look at Article 62 A, the vice president is supposed to be a Ghanaian by birth, and goes on under legislature. So under Article 94, 95, 96, it gives requirement to become a member of parliament, speaker of parliament, and deputy speaker of parliament. In all these provisions, we have stated the requirement that you have to have in terms of you becoming an officer holding that position. So this issue of dual citizenship or otherwise, as came up in one of the cases that celebrated case as I was Attorney General, and the Supreme Court pronounced on it that you cannot, as it were, the law says that you cannot be a dual citizen and hold some specific provisions as the Act, amended Act of the 1996 of the provision states. So if Parliament, as it were, want to change that law, now the law as it is now that if you are a dual citizen, you cannot hold certain position in the country. Okay. That's the law as it is now.
Okay.
Then the law as it ought to be is what the former president maybe says.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what it means is that once they are remitting into the country, that's what people say. Once they are remitting into the country, you should then allow them to contest. So per your point, we should not allow this law to stay in our books, right?
Well, the issue of these citizens of ours becoming officers or holding certain positions in the country came up in that case I mentioned. Yes, the court look at the operating, what will be operating on the mind of a person who is supposedly a citizen of Ghana and that of another country. What will be operating on that person's mind when there's a decision to be taken? You understand? You see, when you look at Article 12 plus 2, it says about looking at the public interest when you are looking at issue of citizenship. So whatever it is, you have to situate it with the public interest. Some people have been talking, those who are against this dual citizenship becoming or taking certain positions, look at security, national security, that if supposedly you are the member of parliament and you owe allegiance to another country, say the UK, US, and a certain decision has to be taken, which of these two countries, Ghana and UK, their interests will weigh on your mind?
Okay. All right. Lawyer, I'm grateful for joining us with your perspectives as well. Now, Dr. Ishmael Kojo is a lecturer at the Department of Political Science, University of Education, Winneba, and a research fellow at the Center for African Diplomacy and Global Engagement, Afro Global. He says Ghana must be careful not to allow self-interest-seeking individuals to hold public office. Dr. Kojo joins us via Zoom now. Doc, grateful that you could join us here. Now, how does electing or appointing someone with dual citizenship into public office put the country at risk, really?
Good evening, and good evening to your viewers. Hello?
We are live, sir. We can hear you. Well, Dr. Ishmael Kojo is an international relations. And Doc, so I'm trying to find out from you, how does electing someone with dual citizenship into public office in Ghana really put the country at risk?
Yes, to an extent, there are dangers involved in doing that. Because if you hold public office, public political office, such as the presidency, such as the vice president, such as the chief justice, there are state secrets that you'll be exposed to. And those state secrets may be of interest to the other country that you owe allegiance to. So the framers of the Constitution were very careful not to allow the state of Ghana to give away very vital information that should be protected. And then it also brings into question, for instance, if the dual citizen hold that vital office and then divulge a secret to another state that is used to them prosecute him if he runs away to that other country, which would then protect him. Because you want to have a situation where public office holder, now if you have a person who is not a dual citizen, even if he goes to seek asylum somewhere, you are in a better position to be able to bring him back home to prosecute. So there is a little bit of danger in trying to say that everybody that holds allegiance to the state of Ghana, even if they owe allegiance to another state, should be allowed to hold certain sensitive positions.
Okay.
There are reasons for it.
Interesting. So how do you respond to people who say that, well, it's outmoded, we have to allow them to be part of the process once they are remitting into the country?
Now, let us note that the laws of Ghana, as it is now, does not ban them totally from public office. There are certain offices they could hold. They can work within the public service up to a certain level. Do you understand? Now, it is when it comes to that crucial point of making positions where you need people who don't have divided loyalty to make those decisions. Yes, it is important that we take into account the fact that they are now a major economic resource that we are trying to encourage to invest in Ghana. Now, investing in Ghana, paying state, taxes to the state of Ghana, yes, partly qualifies them to public office. But then again, there is another element that they also owe allegiance to another state.
Okay.
And that allegiance alone is significant for us because you want a situation where you are able to be sure that the people who are running the state of Ghana are totally committed to Ghana.
Okay. So you don't agree with people who suggest that we have to do away with that particular provision of law?
I don't subscribe to that position because there are major security implications to going that way. And indeed, what it means is that if you go that way, any enemy of Ghana could look for somebody who qualifies to hold dual nationality to assume any sensitive position of Ghana and use it to harm the state of Ghana.
Okay, grateful to you, Dr. Hlovo, for joining us here. Let's cross over to the Gimpa campus where my colleague Parkwesi Shandorf is standing by with a group of students there. Parkwesi, who are you with and what do they make of the former president's suggestion?
Speaking about the need to revise the portions of the constitution that bar Ghanaians with dual citizenship from holding office. Here at Gimpa, we've been interacting with a number of students, and indeed, they've been sharing an array of opinions. The opinions are largely divided. Joining me here is Julius Kwame Anthony. He happens to be the former General Secretary of the National Union of Ghana Students and someone who is indeed very concerned about this particular development. So, Julius, first off, do you agree with the suggestions by the former president?
It depends on how you look at it. But the issue of allegiance and the background to why we are here on the dual citizenship issue needs to be looked at as a whole, not only on the fact that the former president is suggesting that we should just do away with those provisions. The reasons are that initially, if you were a citizen of Ghana, you were not allowed to be a citizen of any other country. I think the 69 Constitution and the Constitution's Prowl held those positions. But there was the need to actually try to align our economic needs and the economic needs of our citizens abroad and their need to retain their Ghanaian citizenship. The reasons being that someone wants to get a job, let's say in the UK or in the US, part of the job requirements is that you are supposed to be a citizen of that country. If in pursuance of that job, I get the citizenship of the United Kingdom, should I be stopped from maintaining my Ghanaian citizenship? So in the wisdom of, bringing that, should I say, correlation or satisfying the joint need of maintaining allegiance and the economic need of our citizens, some amendments happened. If you look at Act 527 and 591, the purposes of Section 16(2) of the Citizenship Amendment Act was to ensure that there was that balance where people could maintain their citizenship of Ghana and still pursue their need for economic, development outside of this jurisdiction. But the issue of allegiance is this. If I owe allegiance to a country, it's a reciprocity issue. The country owes me some level of protection. For example, when I was outside of Ghana and COVID broke out, we were, brought back to Ghana because the state owes us that allegiance to save us in situations of emergency and in situations of war. So if a person holds a position as high as a member of parliament, ambassador, and all those things, and there's that situation where you need to, showcase your fealty to Ghana or a different country which you owe allegiance to, what do you choose? That's the issue. The reciprocity effect is such that we block people from holding positions and holding citizenship of other countries, because if you don't do that and the person betrays the mandate of that office, he could be rescued by that other country. But if you block that access to the person, so if I'm a citizen of the United Kingdom and a citizen of Ghana, I misbehave in a high office, let's say ambassador or something of the sort, and I'm supposed to face charges in Ghana. The United Kingdom, if it is in their interest, can say, okay, in the reciprocity effects of allegiance, they are rescuing me from here. How does Ghana ensure that we protect our national security interests when we allow people to hold those offices? But there's the need for us to also look at, should we use those conditions as a pretext from injuncting, duly elected members of parliament who, for all intents and purposes, wanted to renounce their foreign citizenship, which, from the case of J.Ch. Kwesen, was clear that he wanted to renounce his foreign citizenship, and the constitution permits that. Should we use these provisions as a way of denying people representation? Those are the questions that we need to also ask ourselves.
But clearly, there is a conflict of allegiance.
The issue of conflict of allegiance here and the issue of members of parliament, let's get the details. What is required to be a member of parliament? You should be an ordinary resident of the place. That's a requirement. Ordinary resident means you participate in activities of the place, you visit the place, you register there as a voter, etc. James J.Ch. Kwesen, he has done all that, right? So he qualifies on that level. The issue of allegiance as to whether or not he still holds allegiance to Canada, the question is, for all intents and purposes, he was in the process of changing that. So why do you injunt him on that basis? That question needs to be raised. But we do not need to, for the reason of this James J.Ch. Kwesen issue, want to touch the allegiance bit without making the considerations of national security and all those things that come into play. It is very important. The court was clear in the Asarian Attorney General case. If you read the judgment of Atuguba and Dateba, they were clear on the reasons why the allegiance is very important. And I think that position of the court is still correct.
Right, but we'll leave it here. So that is Julius Kwame Anthony, the former General Secretary of the National Union of Ghana Students. He's not the only person who holds this view. Actually, a number of students who engaged us have equally expressed that particular sentiment. Praise.
That's my colleague Pakwesi Shando from the Game Park campus. There are two other stories. Call him a presumptive leader of the political party, the presidential candidate. Yet experts say that former President John Mahama's quest to become the next flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress will not be a walk in the park. The former leader is facing stiff opposition from former Finance Minister Dr. Kwabena Dufo and former Mayor of Kumasi Kojo Bonsu. The two or the three will be slugging it off this weekend as delegates head to the polls to choose the next presidential candidate of the largest opposition party. The Joy News Political Desk has been looking ahead to that contest as we put together the spotlight on John Mahama today.
John Dramani Mahama is a household name, and although his critics say the opposition party needs a new contender for the next presidential election, JM says he is unfazed but is rather focused on a simple rescue mission to secure victory for the opposition party in the 2024 general election.
I am set and ready, very ready, to build the Ghana we want together with you.
But John Mahama, as former leader of the party, has had a checkered political history. After leading the NDC to victory in 2012, he has failed on 2 consecutive occasions to win any election. He's contested on the ticket of the NDC, having lost the last presidential election in 2020.
Fingers on that verification machine. So a lot of things went wrong. We've done our postmortems. We realized that we have to go into the ring with our own referee. And so we're going to be much more vigilant than we were in the past. You know, you expect that the commission is neutral, and so there are some things you take for granted. But this time, we're not taking anything for granted.
But now his party is on the lookout for the next candidate to lead the NDC into the next general elections. And just when nominations opened, John Mahama threw his hat in the ring with an appeal to grassroots of the NDC to give him another chance.
And so I have offered myself on May 13th. We will go to our primaries, both for presidential. It is my hope that my colleagues with whom I am standing for the presidential primaries, we would come together as one after I have emerged as the presidential candidate, rally together in order to ensure that NDC wins the victory in the...
John Mahama is facing stiff opposition from two individuals he's worked with in previous NDC administrations.
Still staying with the NDC primaries, aspiring flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, Dr. Kojo Dufo, says a strong national buffer stock system holds the key to reducing post-harvest losses. He intends to establish food buffer stocks in all regions to enhance agricultural production when elected president. Dr. Dufo has been addressing the media in Kumasi ahead of the NDC primaries on Saturday. Nana Aljima has more in the following report.
In the implementation of the buffer stock system, Dr. Dufo says licenses will be issued to middlemen to purchase from the farmers for storage by the government. He believes effectively implementing the system will increase the revenue of farmers and help deal with unemployment.
But with this food, it gets rotten. When we come back to power, we'll make sure every region, for example, have a national food buffer stock so that the farmers will be able to produce, get money, immediately go back to do their job. As of now, the foods get rotten. You see them along the roadside, rotten, because we're buying them. Okay. It will promote agriculture. It will increase the wealth of our farmers, and they'll be better off. All of us will also be okay. We cannot be living in the country where we produce food, but we are all going, hungry. It's ridiculous. And in doing this, say we are going to license people to do this job. So we'll have licensed agents. They will buy the food, like it happens in Cocoa.
The Dufo campaign made a stop in the Ashanti region to meet delegates. The first meeting was held with the regional party executives. Key among the campaign messages is the strengthening of the party through the development of the grassroots.
That we need to help the grassroots. When we refer to the word grassroots, we are referring to the base, the foundation of the party. If you have a building, you have a solid foundation, it means you have a solid building. It applies to parties and all structures also. Now, what can we do to strengthen the base of our party apart from the outer? The work they're doing in the various offices, are they being paid for? They are not. It's voluntary. There's something like a part-time job in politics. So in future, we are planning to make sure that all our constituencies have nice offices and that the executives will be working full-time from morning to evening, and all of them will be paid. By doing this, they will be able to improve upon their financial base.
For Joy News, Nana Aljima, Kumasi.
Welcome back from the break. Now, the Trade Union Congress are firing Sonona Sogli Power Company Limited over its response to recent controversy surrounding its dismissal of some workers. Sanana Sogli is accused by the TUC of suppressing efforts by workers for the company to form a union and dismissing the leaders of the newly formed union. In a statement, the company said it is not against unionization, but against the processes adopted by the workers. Speaking to Joy News, spokesperson for TUC, Na Ayele Adefio, says Sanana Sogli must explain the process it wanted the workers to adopt, accusing the company again of refusing to attend meetings called by the Minister for Employment and Labour Relations.
We all read Sanana Sogli's response, and they said the union went about their unionization the wrong way. I wish they had told us the manner in which the union went about their unionization, which was why 3 of their leadership was sacked. In fact, the minister has been involved in this. Our sector minister, that's Minister of Employment and Labour Relations, has been involved in this. And there was one particular time that the management of the organization was invited into this meeting where Labour leader or TUC leadership was present. And they never turned up. At various levels, management won't engage us, but at the National Labour Commission, we have been there, and I think they have taken this matter to court, and at various fora, we have tried to engage. But
you saw the statement on Friday. Since then, has there been any attempt to engage or receive the kind of response or further details you're looking for from the company?
Unfortunately, we haven't got anything directly from the company, but I can tell you on authority that there have been background talks with some influential people who are closely linked with the company. There's not much I can disclose at this point, unfortunately, because all we want is the reinstatement of these 3 who have been dismissed. And the point is this, that if you tell these individuals you're paying them off, then that's virtually saying to everybody that, or any member of the union, whether an enterprise union, a yellow union, whatever you want to call it, the traditional union, that you can't have unions here, which is what the company is making us believe. But actually, they are not allowing the union to thrive in Sanana Sogli. So unfortunately, that's where we are.
A member of Parliament's Education Committee, Clement Park, has criticized the Education Minister, Dr. Yao Educhum, for his prolonged silence on a petition filed by the aggrieved staff of the Complementary Education Agency since 2021. Now, in the petition, the staff demanded a reversal of transfers made by the Acting Director General, Francis Asumadu, whom they accused of witch hunting, malice, sexual harassment, financial mismanagement and victimization of staff, among other allegations. The ministry is yet to respond to the petition after more than 2 years. The staff is surprised by Asumadu's recent promotion to the substantive Director General position without any attention paid to their petition filed 2 years ago. Clement Park believes the ministry's silence is an indictment on the minister. We will hear from him soon. First, here are sounds of some staff members speaking with Joy News on anonymity.
This man has been a man that even when you have a problem and you go and you want to talk with him, it's like he has no ear to listen. So what do? Even when you see a problem and you want to address it with him, your opinion doesn't matter. He is ruling. So what do you have to say? So I felt the minister is the one who placed him there. So if something is not working and after the time we put in the petition, if he has come to our aid, then probably maybe we could have also aired our grievances to him, but nothing of that sort has happened.
If something is not even going on right and he complains, the minister doesn't have anything to do than to make him stay at post and even to extend his contract. There's nothing that we have sent petitions. I'm sure most of my colleagues have sent petitions to the minister several times, and he's doing nothing about it.
Now, reacting to the claims, Director General of the Complementary Education Agency, Francis Asumadu, has described the allegations as false. He says the claims are without basis.
I don't know where they are coming from. It is not true. It is not true, even to the extent of saying that I am not even fit, unwell, and collapsing. I don't know where I've ever collapsed. If you say witch hunting, then it means that you are even transferring certain people without any formal basis. The transfers were effected because we have then migrated from non-formal education to the CA. Some people were supposed to leave and others come in.
We can now hear from Member of Parliament's Education Committee, Dr. Clement Park, who is encouraging the aggrieved staff to petition Parliament.
It is not too late for the minister to act expeditiously, but I would want to urge the petitioners to also file a petition with the Parliamentary Subcommittee on Education. Once that is done, the committee then becomes obligated to act on the petition. But as it is now, they have not petitioned the committee, they have petitioned the minister. And from all indications, the minister has not acted in a way and manner that is satisfactory to them. So they have to escalate it to the next level by petitioning us. But as I said, if the minister or the ministry is listening, I think that this is an indictment because the matter ought to have been looked into. For a petition that is dated 2021, and to think that we are in 2023, for the petitioners to then come public, obviously, for the lack of action by the minister, it doesn't augur well for the well-being of the ministry and the agencies under it.
Now to other stories. Pensioner Bondholders Forum are calling out government for failing to pay their coupons and matured capitals 2 months after it has exempted them from the domestic debt exchange program. Government had earlier promised to pay the bondholders after they picketed the finance ministry for 2 weeks in February over the same demand. Members of the group say they are struggling to afford medical care for themselves and their relatives due to government's inability to settle the payment. The situation, they say, has compelled them to return to the Ministry of Finance to demand an immediate payment of their maturing bonds. James Aveji was there and has more in the following report. When the pensioners finally abandoned their 2 weeks picketing, their hope was to never return.
I didn't start this if I didn't know it can work.
But 2 months after securing an assurance from the finance minister to pay them all their coupons, they are back to press on the same demand. Convener of the group, Dr. Edwana Nientwi, explains why.
20th February, 2 coupons were due, plus principal. Government didn't pay the principal, but paid the coupons. Then we said, well, that is not what government should be doing, especially with people that you have exempted, especially with people who are relying on their coupons for their medication and upkeep. So please pay all the arrears by 21st of April. Otherwise, we will resume picketing here until you pay us.
Among the picketers today is a retired police chief inspector, Ame Vemega. He narrates how he cannot go for a medical checkup because his funds are locked up.
As I'm speaking now, I've been referred to Ho to even undergo some medical checkup, and because of money issued, I've not gone yet. It's very painful for a police officer serving this country for almost 35 years, and the little I had for that my stewardship, and to be taken by the government, in fact, it's very disastrous.
Another protester also tells me how she is unable to take care of a 91-year-old mother because she cannot retrieve her funds.
I'm looking after my 91-year-old mother, and it's very expensive because you have to buy medication. At this moment, we haven't been paid our coupons. How do you expect me to pay for her medication?
Others say they are disappointed in government for treating them unfairly after borrowing their meager capitals.
How I feel that you needed money, and I was kind enough to give you my money. So I put away my expenditures, I denied myself of certain things, and I gave it to you. Now it's time to give it back to me. Why must I be begging for it like this? It's very unfair. So that's how I feel. You are not treating me fairly. Because at the time you needed money, there were so many other people who didn't come to your rescue. I came and loaned my money to you. Why must I come and beg for my money this way? It's not right. You see, it's not fair. It's not fair.
Meanwhile, Dr. Edu Ananientwi has called on government to borrow from the treasury bill market to settle the bond.
If you borrow from the treasury bill market and pay them, you increase your debt level a bit, but we can bring the economy back. For principals, I don't even understand why government will not take money from treasury bills and pay the principal, because that doesn't increase your debt level. You owe 20 billion. You have to pay 2 billion, which is due. You borrow new 2 billion and pay this old 2 billion, your debt level still become 20 billion. So I can't understand why government will not even borrow from the treasury bill to pay the principal.
As these pensioners retire from their picketing today, they are resolved to continue daily until government pays their last penny. James Kwesi Abiji's report, read to you. A member of parliament for the Asoka constituency warns a review on a section of the Parliamentary Act which mandates the president to appoint a majority of ministers of state from parliament. Patricia PJ believes the current law on ministerial appointment as provided in Article 78 Clause 1 does not allow the legislature to conduct oversight duties to properly demand accountability from the executive. Emmanuel Bright Kweku caught up with the legislator whose comment follows a 2022 Africa Open Parliament Index report which ranked Ghana's parliament as the best but scored lowest point in terms of public accountability.
Article 78, Clause 1 of Ghana's 1992 Constitution provides that ministers of state shall be appointed by the President with the prior approval of Parliament from among members of Parliament or persons qualified to be elected as members of Parliament, except that the majority of ministers of state shall be appointed from among members of Parliament. But the latter part of the clause does not argue well with some members of Parliament. MP for the Asokwa constituency, Patricia PJ, says the dual responsibility of parliamentarians who double as ministers of state affect perfect execution of their duties. She believes a well-resourced parliament could hold the executive to task.
In trying to oversee the activities of the various sectors, what happens is that you cannot scrutinize the activities of the sectors to its perfection, because you are dealing with a human institution whereby you overseeing that responsibility will at the same time go out for favors for such ministers. When President Kojo was leaving office, one of the suggestions that came from him is for us to try and ensure that separation of powers works within our governance system. Because if a minister is not a member of parliament and we are seriously overseeing their activities and we are adequately resourced, there's no way, because I'm going with my own financial support. I don't need favors from you. So I need to oversee your activities with a lens that will ensure accountability.
Demands by party faithfuls and some citizens during electioneering is also a worry for the legislator.
During the election period, what do we experience? People, you go out there and other people will be requesting from you is to give them some money. So by the time you are done with your elections, you are in debt. How can it make this situation make a parliamentarian incorruptible? So we as citizens must also examine ourselves.
The former Kumasi mayor also decried the partisanship of national issues on the floor of parliament, which she argues affects the implementation of policies beneficial to the country. She says over-politicization during parliamentary proceedings hampers the execution of the primary functions of the legislature.
Politicization, excessive ones, whereby we don't even interrogate government programs and policies well, but because of either being in a minority or majority. We kick against things that policies that can bring us a number of benefits.
For Joy News, Emmanuel Bright Kweku reporting.
Now, the Water River Authority says it will this week test its preparedness in managing spillover or the overflow of the Akosombo and Pong hydro dams. The VRA is partnering NADMO and other agencies to undertake the exercise this week. Prince Kwame Kudoga was at the media briefing and filed this report read to you.
The simulation exercise, dubbed Exercise Daohoso, will be conducted in 3 districts likely to be affected. Isujaman in the eastern, Adan East in the Greater Accra, and Northern in the Volta region. It is slated for the 11th of May with key partners including the Ghana Police Service, the Ghana Navy, Ambulance Service, the Armed Forces with support from the United States Embassy in Ghana. Seji Seji is the Deputy Director General of the National Disaster Management Organization.
This simulation exercise is a collaboration between the Water River Authority and the National Disaster Management Organization. We are simulating a spillage of the Akosombo Dam up to the tune of 10,000 cubic meters. 10,000 cubic meters is a lot of water. It has implications on all the districts downstream. And we have 9 districts downstream the Akosombo Dam. These 9 districts will be affected if such a volume of water should be spilled. As an organization which is mandated by law to deal with disasters and similar emergencies, it is our responsibility to make sure we protect life and property in the unlikely event that this incident occurs, that Akosombo or the VRA decide to spill. So that is why we have the opening ceremony today. The activity itself is going to be on the 11th of May. So on the 11th of May, we are going to simulate a dam spillage, a water spillage from Akosombo Dam that will affect some communities. Now the communities that will be affected will be communities in North Town, communities in Adan East, and communities in Esujaman.
The Deputy Chief Executive Officer in charge of engineering and planning of the Water River Authority, Edward Eko Obenkenzo, reiterated the importance of the exercise.
World Bank's Ghana Climate and Development Report 2022, flooding affects about 45,000 people yearly. The United Nations Sustainable Development Goal, SDG 13, recognizes climate change as a real and undeniable threat to our civilization. The effect of climate change will be a catastrophic threat to our civilization. Unless we act now to limit and adapt to it. One expected effect is the increased frequency and magnitude of floods.
Yes, we're watching Joy News Prime. We'll take a break. We'll be back with Showbiz. Stay with us. All right, so welcome back from the break. Time for us to bring you Showbiz and the Queen. Almighty Becky Bex is here. Hi, Becky. How are you?
Hello to you, Brace. It's a VGMA weekend, obviously. It's all over the place. I'm sure you've seen, everything that has happened, that Michael won.
And I saw you interviewing him.
Yeah, we'll bring you back to that interview, but let's run you through some of the things or some of the people that won the awards on the nights that you made. So Last Made won the New Artist of the Year. We had Jackie picking up the Record of the Year. Also, and that's Jackie right there. She's the winner. We have Stonebwoy coming through with the Best Reggae and Dancehall Artist in a row. He won it again. And we have Kim Promise with the Album of the Year. A lot of people were thinking that Blacko was going to pick that Album of the Year. They were disappointed. He got it. Also, his first award. Sarkodie also won the Best Hip Live hip hop artist of the year for the landlord, and Kenata went home with the High Life Artist of the Year. For those of you who don't know,
disappoint, you know.
And obviously, Almighty Blacko came up with the Artist of the Year. Yeah, that's him. Winner, Artist of the Year. A lot of people predicted that he will be the winner. He also won the Vodafone Most Popular Song of the Year for Kweku the Traveler. So before the event, I had a conversation with him. I asked him a few questions about his year under review, and here is Black Sheriff.
We've had lots of industry players rooting for you to win the Artist of the Year. You think you deserve it?
I do.
Okay. So
you're
taking it?
Yeah.
There's 7 or 6 of you, or 7 of you in the same category.
Good luck to everyone, but I think, I think I did come take it. I think that be everyone in that category, that be the same thing that they take come. So
they're awarding your works or works that you've done year under review. How would you describe your year under review, Blacko?
My best. I feel like I've done my best, and it's been seen. That's why I'm in that category. So good luck to me. Man.
You have a style. I can't really put my fingers on the particular style. Can you run me through the brand Blacko is?
It's really it's like an energy trip that I'm in. I wasn't like this 5 years back. I'm young, wild, and free. I'm open to new things. I'm having new experiences, meeting new people and stuff. And I've been creating, searching inspirations and stuff like that. So I think my style is freedom. My style is freedom. Doing whatever I like and being confident in that.
What are you wearing?
Okay, so my Cunnings got me this. Cunnings got me the shoes and stuff. And these are mostly gifts, and this from FTY. This from FTY, and this from Kenzo Paris. So basically, and the hair is mine.
Obviously the hair is But thank you so much for talking to us. Wish you all the best. Hopefully we'll catch you after the show when you win or not win the Artist of the Year.
Believe, inshallah, live.
Well, and he believed, and he won the Artist of the Year. Another person who was hoping to win the Artist of the Year, PSC Esther. I had a conversation with her as well before the show ended. Let's listen to PSC.
I'm feeling so good, feeling so blessed, feeling so excited.
You have put in a lot of work, obviously, we've seen it. And do you think that you've put in enough work to get you to where you want to get to? Talk about all the nominations, the 7 nominations that you've been nominated.
I believe we have tried our best. Yes, we have tried our best. We have worked hard. Yes, so if you ask me that, I will say yes, we have really worked hard.
When you ask a lot of people on the streets, especially the gospel fraternity, they're rooting for you to win the Artist of the Year. Do you think that is feasible tonight?
Oh, we are praying to God. Everything is in the hands of God.
What if it doesn't happen?
We give glory.
You put in a lot of work.
I know.
What if it doesn't happen?
Oh, we will still praise God for that. Even how far God has brought us. We didn't expect that. So in all things, we give glory and honor to the Most High God.
Well, so clear. Obviously, she's giving glory and honor to the Most High God. And so she says that she is not disappointed that she came out without winning the Artist of the Year. She spoke on Daybreak Hits this morning.
Disappointed you couldn't win the Artist of the Year?
No, I wasn't.
Really?
I wasn't.
Hey, the way you were going all around, campaigning heavily, and then backed by the table of men.
Yes,
were you not disappointed?
I wasn't disappointed.
Okay, did you see Blacko picking up the award earlier? Did you think that this India is not for me?
Oh no. In fact, I was thinking that I could also win.
Okay.
But hey, if I didn't win and Black will win, I mean, that's also fine. Okay. Because he has also worked for it.
Okay.
So that was in my mind that if I win, fine. If I didn't and Black won, that's also fine.
Did you lose hope when you picked Gospel Artist of the Year? Did you also lose it?
No, I was happy. Yes, I was. You know, this is my first time winning awards on
really?
VGLE.
Okay.
That's my first time. I've got nomination before, but I didn't win.
Okay.
So this is my first time. So you just imagine, I was happy.
And the king danced to that song.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I saw the king.
Oh.
I saw the king.
He
told me. He said, Bex. T.Y. was fantastic.
Oh, really?
I'm like, I don't have.
What time did he tell you that?
Well, I called. You know, Otunfo was there, so I called. I said, you know, what's happening?
Oh, you know what's up. And you know what happened that day too? There was a birthday party for I think Otunfo.
Yeah.
You seen that too?
Yeah, I saw that. You know, I've been communicating with them where, you know, special people, some of the things we're not allowed to say.
All right.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
And on that note, we wrap today's bulletin. There's more news on
when you log on to myjoyonline.com, that's where you find all the news, especially entertainment. You know, just focus on entertainment. Forget about breaks and everybody. Beverly is up next. Grace, you want to say something else?
No. Okay.
Okay.